Well, today I'll be talking about all the shows that I went to this year in the year 2024. So, yeah, with this year, I went to 9 shows. So, let's go ahead and dive into it. Starting off with the first show that I went to this year, and this was at the Nin Factory, and this was back in May, if I remember correctly. But yeah, the show was Lines of Loyalty, Dope, Seven Dust, and Static X. I was there because of Seven Dust and Static X, but I did do VIP for 2 of the bands here. Those bands being Seven Dust and Static X, of course. But yeah, I started with doing VIP for Seven Dust, which was, of course, before the show, while Static X VIP was after the show. And yeah, doing VIP for Seven Dust was definitely worth it. It was definitely really cool to meet the band and get a picture with them too. But also with doing VIP for Seven Dust, you get this signed poster right here. Definitely really cool. But yeah, really loved meeting the band. But yeah, moving into the show, started off with Lines of Loyalty, and from what I remember, I don't remember much about their performance, but from what I remember about how I felt about their performance, I remember thinking they were all just all right, but nothing super special, but decent though. I believe they were a newer band. I think they only have one album out at the moment, but yeah, I think they were all right. But again, I don't remember a whole lot from their performance. But either way, moving to the next band. The next band was Dope. Never been a big Dope fan, but I thought they put on a solid performance though. I mean, they're one of those bands where I can like maybe 2 or 3 songs, but that's about it though. But again, I thought they put on a solid/decent performance. Then came on Seven Dust, and to no surprise, they put on a great show. This was my first time seeing Seven Dust live, and definitely really enjoyed myself. I mean, of course, they played some of their bigger songs like Denial and Enemy. But they also played some deeper cuts like Alpha, the title track, and they also played Pieces and Till Death. And yeah, it was overall pretty solid set list. The only thing I found odd was that they didn't play anything off of Animosity, which is maybe their biggest album or the most well-known. So again, I found that to be kind of odd. So yeah, they didn't play Praise or Live Again or Angel Sun or anything like that. So again, kind of odd, but either way, besides that, again, pretty solid set list. A solid mix between the deeper cuts and of course, the bigger singles. But yeah, Seven Dust was definitely awesome to see live. And then, of course, the final band for the show was Static X, and Static X put on a great show. This was my second time seeing Static X, and yeah, they were definitely awesome. Most of the set list was stuff from the first 2 albums, Wisconsin Death Trip and Machine. For me, it would have been cool to see them play some other stuff from some of their other albums, and they did. I mean, from the Project Regeneration albums, I think they played like maybe 2 or 3 songs. But yeah, I wish they would have played some stuff maybe more stuff from Start a War or Cannibal. I don't think they played anything off of those 2 albums, if I remember correctly. So personally, I think it would have been really cool if they would have played like Dirt House or Destroyer or Cuts You Up or anything like that. But either way, I did enjoy their set list though. But then after the show, we did VIP for Static X, and yeah, I got to meet the band again for a second time, and they signed this sleeve thing. This is only being sold on their online store, but you can buy this for I think it was $5. But yeah, I got them to sign this in person. It was definitely really cool of them to do that. Signed by Ken, Koichi, and Tony. Zero does his own separate VIP, so with the VIP package that I did, you only get to meet Ken, Tony, and Koichi, which for me is those are the members to meet. I could care less about meeting Zero, but hey, maybe at some point, maybe I'll look into that. But for me, not a high priority. But again, maybe at some point. But moving to the next show, we got. Well, this was at Northern Quest, and the show was Arizona, Yellow Card, and Third Eye Blind. I was there because of Third Eye Blind. Arizona, from what I remember, they kind of sounded like a mix between indie rock and Imagine Dragons. So not quite my thing. I mean, I didn't think they were awful, but at the end of the day, their music just wasn't quite for me at all. But again, not horrible. I definitely have seen worse bands live. But the next band was Yellow Card. I'm only familiar with 2 or 3 of their songs, and that's about it, though. But I thought they were decent, though. Nothing that really made me want to check out more of their stuff by any means, but still, I thought they put on a decent performance. Solid. But then it came on Third Eye Blind, and I thought they put on a pretty good show. Really, the only song I wish they would have played is Bonfire. For whatever reason, they didn't play that. Because I remember seeing at their merch booth, they had the set list at their merch booth, and it was a signed set list. And I remember Bonfire being right at the end, but for whatever reason, they didn't play Bonfire. So I was like, that part was kind of disappointing. But besides that, pretty solid set list. You had Crystal Baller, Semi Charm Life, how's it going to be, and Never Let You Go, and of course many other songs. And overall, pretty solid set list. And Third Eye Blind, I think, sounded pretty good live, even with this current lineup. Of course, the only classic members, or only members from the classic lineup that are still in this band, are Stefan and Brad. But I thought the other members were good too. So yeah, Third Eye Blind, it was definitely worth seeing them live for sure. But the next show, and this show was at I think it was at the Riverfront Pavilion, if I got the name right. But it was Gorilla Toss, Coheed and Cambria, and Primus. I was there because of Primus. But it started off with Gorilla Toss, and this is another band where it kind of went from one ear and out the other, to be honest. I thought they're one of the more forgettable bands that I've seen live. Nothing super bad. I wouldn't say that they were bad, but kind of meh. The one thing I do remember from their performance is that one of the members would always say, "You guys ready to rock?" or something like that. And that's basically about it. So yeah, kind of forgettable, but not horrible. And then came on Coheed and Cambria. I'll admit, the only song I'm familiar with or can remember from them is "Welcome Home." Of course, that's their big song. But I know I've heard some of their other stuff, but Coheed and Cambria is one of those bands I just can never get into. A band I can more respect rather than actually get into. But yeah, when it comes to their performance, I thought they were fine, but again, their music's not really for me. And then came on Primus, the band that I was there for, and they definitely put on a killer show. Solid set list too. They did play even some of the deeper cuts, like Fisticuffs off of the Brown album, which I did not expect. That was definitely really cool. And of course, they did play some of the bigger songs like Tommy the Cat and My Name Is Mud. But yeah, Primus was definitely really cool to see live, and definitely glad I gave him a shot for sure. And yeah, Primus was definitely great. But moving to the next show, this was at, I believe this was also at Northern Quest. It was Tim Montana, Candlebox, Jerry Cantrell, and Bush. I was there mainly for Bush, but it opened up with Tim Montana, and Tim Montana was all right. Kind of, from what I remember, from what they sound like, it was mostly, I don't know, post-grunge / dad rock, divorced dad rock, you can maybe say. It was alright, but nothing that really moved me all that much. But not bad, though. I think they put on a decent performance. And then came on Candlebox. Honestly, I thought Candlebox was pretty good. Most of the set list, from what I remember, was from their first album. Their first album is really the only thing I liked from them. I never really got into what came after, but they're one of those one album bands for me personally. But I thought Candlebox put on a pretty solid performance. And then came on Jerry Cantrell, his solo band. I thought they were pretty good. And yeah, it was a mix between the solo stuff and of course some Alice in Chains. And yeah, fairly solid set list. I thought they were good. And I'm going to see Jerry Cantrell solo again in March with Filter opening. That'll be cool. I'm going mainly, of course, because of Filter. When it comes to Jerry's solo stuff, I'm only familiar with 1 or 2 songs, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Filter, though. But yeah, Jerry Cantrell, when it came to this show, I thought his solo band was pretty good. And then next is Bush, and this was my second time seeing Bush, and Bush put on a great show. First time I saw them, I did VIP, but this time I didn't do VIP, though. But yeah, Bush, to no surprise, put on a pretty solid show. Solid set list too. Of course, they opened up just like with the first time I saw them. They opened up this set with Everything Zen. It was cool to see them perform that song and Little Things and Come Down and Greedy Fly, Flowers on a Grave, and some other songs. But yeah, Bush No Surprise was definitely great. But moving into the next show, this was in Seattle and this was at Lumen Field. And boy, Lumen Field was expensive, but it was definitely cool to do once. But Lumen Field, would I do again? It'd have to be. I don't know if I'd do that again. Again, Lumen Field was definitely not cheap, but again, definitely worth it for the band that I saw there, though, or some of the bands. But with this show, it was Mammoth, Wolfgang Van Halen, Pantera, and Metallica. I did a VIP for Pantera, and yeah, I got a picture with the band, and also with doing VIP for Pantera, I got this poster here, right there. Oh, and also with that Static X poster that you see right there, I got that from doing VIP for Static X. Almost forgot to show that, but yeah, it was definitely really cool to meet Pantera, though. But yeah, moving to the show, Mammoth, Wolfgang Van Halen. I thought they were good. Nothing that really blew me away by any means, but still a solid performance, though. But then came on Pantera, and I definitely loved seeing Pantera live. I mean, of course, you could maybe say it's not the real one since there's no Dime or Vinny, but I mean, I get all that. But for someone that never got the chance to see Pantera live or wasn't around during their big heyday in the 90s, for me, I thought they put on, again, still a pretty great performance, and solid set list too. Good set list. Then came on Metallica, and so I went to both Seattle shows, but with this first show, they put on great performances for both shows, and you get a decent mix between singles and deeper cuts. Of course, you get more singles than deep cuts, but with the deep cuts that they played, like Leper Messiah, I was definitely really happy, though. I mean, I believe from what I remember, they opened up the set with Creeping Death. That was definitely really cool. And then they ended things off with Master of Puppets, I believe. And yeah, it was definitely really cool to see Metallica. I mean, this was definitely one of the bands I wanted to see the most live. And yeah, they definitely put on a great show. But moving to the next show, we have, and this was, of course, this is the second Seattle show that Metallica did at Lumen Field, and it was Ice Nine Kills, Five Finger Death Punch, and Metallica. Only there for Metallica, not a fan of the other two bands, but Ice Nine Kills was the opening band. The music is definitely not for me, but they were entertaining to watch, I'll be honest. Entertaining to watch. I mean, definitely not boring, but again, the music definitely not for me, though. And then came on Five Finger Death Punch, which has to be the worst band I've seen live. For the longest time, All American Rejects really took that title, because I'm also not a fan of that band either, but I have to go with Five Finger Death Punch. They were a chore to get through for me. I mean, I wouldn't call them boring to watch, but I'm just not a fan of their music at all. And having the fans singing along around me also made the experience even worse. But I was in such a great spot on the floor that I couldn't. I know I would regret it if I left to go take an hour-long bathroom break or something. So I kind of had to just get through it, and I got through it. And yeah, I did not enjoy sitting through Five Finger Death Punch, but hey, it's worth it because you get to see Metallica. So, but of course, the next band would be Metallica, and Metallica again put on a really great show. And I was closer this time. And when Metallica was making their entryway, going through their entrance, I was right on the rail where the bands walk in, and I managed to get a high five from Lars Ulrich. That was definitely really cool. And yeah, definitely one of the best shows that I've been to, minus the two bands, Ice Nine Kills and Five Finger. But their performance, I mean, definitely one of the best bands I've seen live for sure. I mean, at one point during For Whom the Bell Tolls, Robert Trujillo came down to the floor towards the entrance, and there was a moment during the song where he was playing his bass right in front of me, standing right in front of me. It was crazy, man. I mean, I just wish Kirk would have done the same thing, but he didn't. He just stayed on stage, and I was like, damn it, Kirk. But either way, it is what it is, though. And there was another moment where I was close to James. I almost got a high five from James, but he missed. But either way, it is what it is. And that was after the show. But with this show, they opened up with Whiplash, and then they closed with Enter Sandman. Another pretty good set list, too. But, yeah. Metallica, again, definitely really great live. And I'm glad I went to both Seattle shows, too. But moving to the next show, this was at the arena. And it was DJ Maddie and Def Leppard. Of course, I'm there for Def Leppard. Whoever the original opening band was, that for whatever reason they couldn't make it to this show. I believe it was a Led Zeppelin cover band, which... not a big loss to me. I mean, I love Led Zeppelin, but would I want to sit through a cover band? Not really. Or maybe it's a tribute band. I can't remember. But either way, it was DJ Maddie, who is, I believe, was like a local DJ in my city, and basically he played just overplayed classic rock songs that I've heard a million times. I mean, there were some fans that were definitely enjoying it, getting engaged in what he was doing, but for me, it was just stuff that I've heard a million times, songs I don't need to hear again, even some Queen songs. It's like, man, pretty basic stuff. But I mean, I get it. It makes more sense to play stuff that people know, so I get that. But once he was done, I was definitely relieved. For sure, I was like, all right, I've had enough. I'm sick of hearing these songs that I've heard a million times. But either way, some semi-entertaining, I guess, but of course we're all there for Def Leppard. But Def Leppard definitely put on a great show. Really enjoyed the set list too. They played, I believe, 8 songs from the Pyromania album, which made me very happy because that's one of my favorite albums of all time. And yeah, Def Leppard definitely put on a really great show. Of course, they played other songs like Bringing on the Heartbreak and Hysteria and Animal and Rocket and some other stuff. But yeah, Def Leppard definitely put on a really great show, and yeah, definitely worth it. Next show was at the Naden Factory, and it was Living Colour and Extreme. I was there for Living Colour. I left after Living Colour. I didn't stay for Extreme because I'm not an Extreme fan. But you can tell most of the crowd was there for Extreme, so that was a tad disappointing. I saw a few Living Colour shirts, but you can tell most of the people there were there for Extreme. But Living Colour, I mean... yeah, Living Colour definitely put on a really pretty good show. I mean, maybe not one of the greatest bands I've seen live. I wouldn't put it up there like in the top 5 or top 10 or anything, but I still thought they put on a pretty great show. I was close to the front. I think there was only like one row of people in front of me, and I was on the floor. And yeah, Living Colour was definitely really cool to see live. I mean, especially just to see Vernon Reid, if I got his name right, to play that solo and Cult of Personality, to play that solo that close to me. It was definitely a really cool experience. And of course, there's cool to see them play other songs like Open Letter to a Landlord and Leave It Alone and some others. But yeah, Living Colour, definitely worth seeing live for sure. And now for the final show here for this video. This was also at the Spokane Arena, and it is Sabaton and Judas Priest. I was there for Judas Priest. Sabaton, I find them to be super hokey, but I mean, their performance semi-entertaining, but I was definitely looking forward to their set ending though, because again, the music itself was still just not my thing. Again, bit too hokey for me, but at least they were semi-entertaining, I guess. But then Judas Priest came on, and definitely really enjoyed their performance. Pretty good set list too. The only song I wish they would have played was A Touch of Evil from the Painkiller album. But I understand that song's not as big as some of their other singles, so I mean, I get that, but I personally really love that song. That's one of my favorite Judas Priest songs. But outside of that, definitely really good set list. A good mix of their newer stuff and the older stuff. More older stuff, most likely, but... and yeah, Rob Halford definitely still has it, though. He definitely still has it, and it's very impressive that he still has it, too. So yeah, Judas Priest, definitely really cool. Definitely awesome to see live. But yeah, those are all the shows that I went to this year in 2024. Let me know your thoughts on these bands that I talked about here, these shows that I talked about here, and let me know what shows you went to this year and all that good stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment to like, subscribe, have a nice day, and take care.